Hello. I have a few relatives, dear ones, who are very proud to have risen above religion, what they call superstition, above the worship of a being that wants to be followed, worshipped, and if we don't, punish us with eternal torment. They think that kind of belief, credulity, has led humanity into a lot of pain and suffering. And it's always been a good excuse for the upper classes to exploit the people. To say, well, you have to follow the aristocracy, you have to follow the clergy, or else. And they owned everything and they lived out of slave labor. So I can also see, as a lover of science, their objections when they read in certain books, this being first created the earth and then created the heavens, meaning first created the earth we live on, and then, he created the whole of space with all those little dots of light. And so, when they read such incorrect stuff and when they see the consequences as well that it had on society, they're very strong in expressing the fact that sorry, thanks, but no thanks. And they have all my sympathy, and empathy. And I know as well that a lot of them are very loving people. They work for a lot of charities, they do very altruistic work, because they believe in humanism. They say, yes, some of these great preachers, like Jesus and Buddha, they taught some humanistic principles of loving your neighbor, which are very important, and that we can accept. As we can accept the universal law, do unto others what you would like others to do unto you. Now, my only difference with them is this. I share that rejection of the worship of a being that is essentially very cruel and domineering. I doubt revelation that tell us everything wrong about the universe and the creation of life. But again, from a kind of which has got some principles of science, from that standpoint of view, I feel that certain things can be felt. And what are those? We are made from the same particles, like quarks, that are even smaller than protons and neutrons, particles that were made at the very first moment of the Big Bang. And those particles, now it seems more and more, are just made out of energy waves, quantum fluctuations. So from this quantum field, these fluctuations arise, and then these fluctuations, according to their wavelengths, they create different particles. So there is a sense of great oneness in this. So no matter our shape, our color, we are made out of the same energy. We are made out of the same particles. And it is my personal experience that I think that in meditation and contemplations going inward, that connection can be felt, and when it is felt, there is this sensation of space, of opening up, of not being limited to this kind of contracted material form. We feel a little bit like, we are wider than that. And most importantly, because there is this sense of oneness, there is also a sensation of loving empathy. I like this word the Buddhists use, but you can say love. Is not just the love of something we anchor for, like even our job, our families, which is also important. I'm not against that at all. We should honor those things. But it is, what I'm talking is a love that is a bit more amplified, that is not just pointed at one particular object, but it's just a state of being. There is also more clarity. So this can be felt in moments of meditation, in moments of art, in moments of giving to others, in moments of connecting to others. So that possibility is there, that somehow transcends just this pure material form and make us feel a bit more made of space, wider than just that. So in that love, in that sense of lovingness that we feel, we can as well understand the ultimate law, the universal law. Do unto others what you would like others to do unto you, and don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. And many atheists, particularly the ones that define themselves as humanists, that believe in those teachings of loving others and doing things for others because it makes you happy and it makes society happy. So it's got a very important message to it. So when we can open to that, then yes, we can reject a great part of religion, you know, the more cruel, the more subjugating, the more dictatorial, you know. We can reject that aspect of some religious people, which is very sad indeed, you know, that they talk to you about love, but then they say, if you don't believe what we are telling you, you're going to burn in hell forever, in torment. I mean, how terrible is that? You know, is I love you, but if you don't bow to me and to what I'm telling you, you'll be punished forever. So we can transcend all that. But at the same time, what I say, so I find very often these humanists, you know, they very much resonate with me. They go, yeah, that sounds really good, man. You know, I mean, you can sign us up. You know, that doesn't create that sense of threat. Of course, there are some atheists that go, no, anything that sounds remotely mystical, we don't want to hear it. You know, okay, fine, no big deal. You know, if you don't want to hear it, don't hear it. But I find that overall, it has got a very, very empathic response. And so what I often say is this, that yes, I can reject the whole of religion from A to Z, but there are aspects of religion that I can be in tune with, and I can relate to people who follow those religions, as long as they are not fanatical and full of condemnation, which unfortunately some are. So, but for example, when I read the Sermon on the Mount of Jesus, wow, I'm there, I'm with him. I mean, it is beautiful. You know, this, I'm showing you the path of the divine to the Father, and this is how you achieve it, like a seed that slowly grows. You know, and he talks about conciliation, about empathy, about charity, you know, and I just think that could create a very nice world indeed, you know. And at the same time, you know, like the Buddha, who he even managed to abolish animal sacrifices because he was feeling for the hurt and the pain that those poor animals were going through. And he said, you're not going to send to the gods any offerings that they'll be happy about, because what you will be sending them are those vibrations of pain and hurt. So I'm quite happy with religious people. I spend a lot of time with some of them. Hello there. And, you know, as long as I feel that there is a certain openness and a readiness to also look at other possibilities, and that there is a certain lack of condemnation, that they go, okay, this is how I see it, this is how you see it, and we can chat and move on. But then we do it within a sense of tolerance and acceptance of one another, because that is what I need. That universal oneness of which I talk about, what it gives us is a sense of tolerance, because when we feel this oneness, we are bound to listen to more, because in the Vedanta scriptures, the Upanishads, at one point it says very beautifully, it explained that everything comes from the one source and everything goes back to the source. And then it says, when you see yourself in all creatures and all creatures within you, then you will know no fear. You will live more in a state of expansion, of unity, of peace. You will start feeling that peace, because the peace comes because you don't feel yourself in contraposition to every form of existence. It's not you against them, but we are part of one same source. So what I'm saying is that we can extract, like these beautiful verses of the Upanishads, we can extract like the Sermon of the Mount or some of the discourses of the Buddha, which can resonate very beautifully, with a humanistic view of the world, and as well with a feeling of unity with life. Now, this feeling of unity, as I said earlier, you can feel it through meditation, just calming the mind and really feeling what's going within. But it can also be done through reading philosophy, through doing charity works, through art, through music. That invitation is always there for us. So I am inviting you maybe to start exploring it, to start feeling it, and to people who are very stuck with this idea of a vengeful, angry, quite cruel kind of God, I'm just saying, loosen up a little bit, loosen up, maybe just start to be a bit more relaxed, a bit more accepting, a bit more loving, a bit less sure of condemnation and hell, and trust me, your life will improve for the best. And what I say to some very, very hardcore atheists is, I understand your concerns, but be a little bit open that sometimes we can have a certain connection with the vastness of life. And I'm not talking of those people that start saying that go astral traveling and talk to fairies and give you messages and hear voices. Nothing of the sort, because as far as spirituality is concerned, I think that if the universe communicates with us, it's through silence. It's in that silence that we feel inspiration. And it's always an inspiration that takes us towards empathy and unity. Okay? So that's what I wanted to share a little bit with you. I have understood in my life over the years that I had to let go of certain things of the past. And I'm not talking just only of my past, but I'm talking of the past of the world. This religion based on fear, in repression, in authority, on condemnation, that perhaps the time has come to leave a bit behind and to start looking, without totally renunciating the past, but to start looking with a more benign, with a more unifying, with a more kind, and with a more loving presence. Okay, thanks for having listened to this. If you're hearing these words, it means you have heard the whole clip, which makes me happy, and I hope to see you again.